Good afternoon. Everyone seems to point fingers straight to the inanimate object that is used in murders. Many individuals jump to the conclusion that it's impossible for it to be the gun holder's complete fault and say that the gun is the problem. The gun, not having a conscious or cognitive ability, does not make decisions on what or when it shoots, thus holding no responsibility. As history has shown, and always seems to repeat with different problems, the attempts to eliminate what the government and the people believe to be an unreasonable threat does not work. It simply slows down the access. Gun control is unnecessary. This is demonstrated by three main points. First, guns are not the problem. Second, attempts to eliminate guns will not fix the problem. And third, there are steps that can be taken to alternatively other than elimination of guns. To begin, it is clearly obvious that guns have no cognitive ability and do not make decisions on what to be fired at. My first main point of discussion is discussing how guns are not the problem. The people operating them are. The first, guns are not the problem. An article published last year in the American Journal of Public Health discusses situations in which the wrong individuals with access to weapons justifies that it is their decision making that is the problem. Research shows that a gun has never killed a person by itself. A gun can be used for many things, but the intent and ending result of its use is solely on the operator. Statistics show that individuals that are using guns are not being properly checked before the gun is released into their possession. When handling properly and for what they're made for, guns are virtually harmless. A key area was surveyed concerning the release of firearms to individuals on restraining orders, which, by federal law, are unable to possess or purchase a firearm. The article states that 78% of individuals on probation that requested for purchase of a firearm received one. This provides a huge red flag to the nation and its internal corruption and security flaws. In a similar article from the National Gun Victims Action Council, written in 2010, aids in the explanation of why people abuse the use of guns and how this demonstrates the poor choices on solely the operator. Some people believe that the simple elimination of guns will resolve the problem. These individuals are respectfully incorrect. The focus needs to be primarily on how these individuals using the guns are gaining access to them. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or the ATF, identifies three main illegal ways guns make their way to the criminal market. These include corrupt federally licensed gun dealers that have firearms that turn up missing, straw purchasing, which includes an individual that is legally clean and allowed to own a weapon, purchase one for an individual that is not allowed to own one, and private gun sales and shows. All three lack the key essential background checks on the individual using the firearm. Studies and statistics concretely justify that guns do not make the choices on when to be used and that it only resides in the operator. Guns are not the problem. In addition, attempts to eliminate guns result in nothing but failure. Attempts to eliminate them will not fix the problem. A compiled document of congressional research written and collected in 2012 focuses on every aspect of guns and control since the early 20th century. Whenever an individual desires to acquire something, they will undoubtedly find a way to gain access to it. History has shown over and over that the attempt to eliminate guns and implement governmental regulation and control does not work. The government cannot regulate everything that happens, nor can they track every firearm sold or manufactured. The major problem doesn't reside with controlling firearms, but identifying the source. By cutting the suppliers and eliminating the missing weapons, by locating and eliminating the source of the firearms, the government reduces the number in a criminal market circulation dramatically. The focus has been on the problem of use and the wrong individuals with these weapons, but it all starts somewhere, and that is the access of these firearms. And the same congressional research, it demonstrates that it has not worked on similar but previous problems and that history repeats itself unsuccessfully. In the 20th century, prohibition was an extreme problem that the majority of people felt needed to be eliminated. After countless hours and laws, prohibition was placed in effect and alcohol became illegal. This simply put the industry underground and out of governmental regulation in sight. The exact same thing will occur if and when guns are attempted to be controlled and eliminated. The world will never remove weapons, and it will be impossible to stop the market, whether it is under regulation or out of sight. During the Prohibition era, 72% of the nation voted to put the 18th Amendment. This, proven time and time again, merely slowed down consumption, but never restricted or eliminated. It enraged many and opened the door for a new underground business, bootlegging alcoholic beverages. Alcohol was just as a crucial topic as gun control and will simply enrage many without solving the problem. As weapons continue to go missing and find their way into the hands of criminals, gun control will be useless. The real problem is the lack of regulatory background checks and the scan of every aspect of an individual's life, mentally and criminally, and the ways individuals can purchase firearms, legally or not. By attempting to eliminate guns completely, the government will horrifically fail. Attempting to eliminate guns will not fix the problem. The last aspect of gun control is what steps should be taken to regulate alternatively instead of attempting to eliminate. Third, there are the steps that can be taken alternatively other than the elimination of guns. An informational article written during 2013 in the Congressional Digest will help discuss statistics and alternatives for gun elimination. Gun elimination is simply irrational and impossible. There are many alternatives to gun control and the steps that can be taken to ensure that individuals untrustworthy of gun access do not acquire them. The first alternative is to have more in-depth screenings and mental health evaluation. Statistics show that many individuals that abuse the use of guns have a mental defect of some degree. More thorough background checks that include mental health evaluations will drastically cut down gun-related problems. Characteristics of individuals that are not mentally stable enough to possess a firearm are those who may have the tendencies to hurt themselves or others are not fit to own a weapon. It states how mass murders and killing events are usually produced from insanity of the human mind, which includes personality and character disorders. This all points toward an individual being highly unstable and incapable of holding such a degree of responsibility as owning a firearm. From the same article, the Congressional Digest, a second alternative can be interpreted. Another opinion to attempt instead of complete elimination is control of the reduction of firearm, small handguns. The reduction of production of distribution, it will reduce the availability of them to the public, legally or illegally required, thus reducing crimes committed with them. A handgun is easily concealable and nearly undetectable. Steps have been taken so that individuals must acquire a permit to own a handgun and must be 21. Making up a majority of the weapons used in criminal acts, access to handguns is too open, illegally or not. By reducing production, increasing the strictness on pistol permits, including background checks, crime rates will drastically drop. By eliminating high numbers of production, criminals will no longer have the large surplus to pick from, and with intensified restriction on the pistol permit, people will no longer simply be able to purchase a handgun for others. These alternatives confirm that there are other, more efficient ways to gun regulation than elimination. As I have discussed and justified, control is unnecessary. In recent years, nearly 6% of firearm-related fatalities have decreased. Overall, firearms are not the problem. The attempts to abolish guns completely are irrational and unachievable, as it will not succeed. The more effective regulation and background check incorporated with better alternatives will improve firearm fatality rates. I urge you to make a difference, stand against gun control, and push for fighting the source of illegal gun production and distribution. Gun control is unnecessary because guns are not the problem. Attempts to eliminate guns will not fix the problem, and there are steps that can be taken alternatively other than the elimination of guns.